Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the J2iCS series here for the GTP Endurance Cup here on JP Broadcasting for the round 3 of this season out at Circuit Zandvoort this evening. I'm your commentator Hamish, joined by Jim Cunningham once again. Jim, well, we got about 10 minutes of racing at Mosport last time out, based on the fact that both of our internets decided to just crack the absolute sads and just not want us to show off Mosport. But luckily tonight here at Zandvoort, it's clear skies and it's clear running ahead for the GTP cars. The big news coming into this race and the big thing that will affect these cars and this series going forward is the new tyre model on the GTP cars and how that affects their strategies going forward, but also how it affects their performance on circuit as well. It's going to be a hell of a test. This circuit as well, we were talking pre-show, doesn't really seem like one that would suit the GTP car too much. Definitely suits GT cars. They race here quite often. And I'm under the belief system that I think, a pilot challenge would work quite well here. LMP3s, GT4s, TCRs would be quite fun. GTPs on their own, oh, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tough. And I think it's going to be one that will test these drivers here this evening.
Yeah, there's definitely. By the way, it's good to be with you. Yes, there's definitely some spots on this track that you put a couple GTP cars next to each other, and that's going to get interesting. Obviously some of the more famous corners here, but it should be fun. So I think it's going to be exciting for sure. And I don't know about you, but I love this track. I
do as well.
I've become a fan of it, and it's really fun and challenging to drive, especially fast. So yeah, I love it. I'm excited.
So the two points of enjoying it is, I was very excited when it came back into the F1 calendar after they'd updated the circuit. And then, especially after driving it, I think it was on Project Cars for the first time when I drove this circuit. And not long after that, they put it back into the F1 calendar, and I was super ecstatic, especially with the updated version of it. And then, compounded with that, when it was updated into iRacing, so when they actually took the old version of the circuit and then updated it to the most modern version with the really heavy banking at the final corner and down at turn 4 as well. So it's one that I heavily enjoy. It's one that I find very, very. It's a difficult track. I mean, it's. The hardest part of the circuit is probably right down at that little bottleneck section, sort of sector 2 at this circuit, just before you come down the sort of back straight area. That's probably the most difficult spot. Just to find a braking marker is incredibly difficult. So, no, I love it. I think it's absolutely fantastic. It creates some great racing, and it's tough to pass, but I think it's one that, it's a circuit that I think is more or less based around how much fuel you can save and how your strategy plays out. That's where it really, that's where you can really sink your teeth into it, is that strategy play. And I think for tonight, strategy is going to be major, especially with that new tyre model on these cars, how much fuel you can save throughout the process too. We know that they can go roughly 45 to 50 minutes on the fuel tank, but can they double stint these new tyres? I don't know. That was one of the points of contention from the league was, are they going to be able to save the tyres enough that they can double stint them like the old sets of tyres? They wear pretty quickly, Jim, if you push too early.
Especially here. This track is known for destroying tires, so.
Yep. Currently in qualifying, we've got about 10 seconds left. Donovan currently leads the way on a 1:23.085. So he's found some pace, Jim. It was contested that he didn't have very much pace coming into tonight's race, but he's found some now in qualifying. The big name that is missing from that list is Squilliam, not racing this week. So the question is, Nick Beaver, who we know's got some wicked pace, we know is incredibly tenacious, and we know that he's one of the fastest drivers in this car. Is it now going to be a battle between him and Donovan at the front of the field this evening? But I can see as well, Simply Steve's found some pace in that Ferrari up at P2. He's only about 8 hundredths of a second slower than Donovan. Spring Flowers got some pace as well, Jim, but he was struggling with off tracks in practice, and that might be the real test for him this evening.
That's going back to these tires, man. These tires are brutal. I love racing GTP cars, and I got out on the new tire the other day. It took me, I was a little later than most people getting back out to try them, and I was shocked. I
Mm.
mean, the first 3 or 4 laps on these tires are just brutal, man. I mean, they do not come up to temperature well, and they are so slick. So it's going to be interesting. But yes, suddenly Steve was really fast in practice. I noticed he looked like he has a bomb pop on his car. You remember we had that conversation the other day?
We did,
I
yes,
think he
yes.
has one on his
The
car. Yeah, I know, right? And uh, also, by the way, I think we've got to mention that Eat My Dust apparently has returned. Um,
Yep,
he
after
was,
knee surgery.
yeah, apparently had knee surgery and is back well enough to get back in the sim, which is fantastic. Um, so yeah, are we? Oh, we're not
Yeah,
cool. Okay,
it's
we're gonna see.
not the first time I've had a driver have knee surgery midway through a season. I had it happen back in December. A driver that I've called a lot of races for actually went and had knee surgery in between seasons and then returned with a brand new knee. Ironically, Jim, that series is age limited to 40 years or over. And I made then the point that, well, should his knee be ID'd as well? Because his knee is not technically 40 years of age, so I don't know if that should be allowed to be used or not.
Yes, no, it's still attached to that 40-plus-year-old body, so that's how it goes.
Yeah,
Trust me, I know.
true. Starting grid though for tonight's race will be as follows. Nottingham will start pole position alongside Simply Steve on the front row of the grid, a Cadillac and a Ferrari line up on the front row. Then it's Bozak and Springflower on the second row with Captain CK, the top seeded Porsche in the field in P5. Nick Beaver will be the top seeded Acura in the field starting at a P6. Then Nicolator, his teammate in behind with Eat My Dust starting on that fourth row of the grid. Jason Wanaki will start P9 alongside Gareth McAllister in P10. Good to see an Aussie in the field. Love to see that. Ryan Schwab and T. Gish will start for your top 12 with DC and Biker Pilot out of P13 and P14 with Urko, Gavin Amerman and Troy Banks at the back of the field. Only one BMW in the field tonight, Jim, and I think the one point I'm just thinking now is how is the BOP affecting these cars
Well,
with Sebring coming up this
I
weekend?
was literally going to ask you that because, as of Daytona,
Yep.
after the BOP, the Acura was a pretty hot car that whole week leading up to it and everything, and now you see the Acura, the fastest one is Nicolator down in sixth place.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
so that's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think anybody knows because I think the final BOP was released today, wasn't it?
Yep. So it
So
appears that the Cadillac and the Ferrari may be the strongest cars now,
it
thanks to
does
the
certainly
BOP.
look like that. The
Um,
Cadillacs are three of the top four up there. So
the Chads are back in the field as the pace car is now leading them around through the
well,
uphill roller coaster section. If we find out where they are and behind that iRacing Porsche safety car,
yeah, well,
uh,
there we go. Okay,
there we are.
the cameras were being. They didn't want to go to work yet. They were being a little lazy there. We've got it. Yeah,
They're on
so
strike.
I'm very curious to see um, how that BOP affects a lot of these cars. I know not that this class isn't racing here, but I know in the GT3s they said they absolutely crushed the Mustang.
It's
And
ironic they haven't crushed the Acura, which was
right,
overpowered at
right,
Bathurst.
yes, it was, yes, it was.
Well, I suppose this race or this upcoming race on the weekend at Sebring 12 Hour is the last time these cars will get BOP'd until after the event. And then the next event that they would have on offer is the Watkins Glen 6 Hour in terms of special events for the GTP itself because they don't have, they don't race at, where would be the next GT event? Let me have a look actually. I have the special event calendar actually. Let's have a quick gander and suss this up. Special events. There it is. So, yeah, so the next event for these cars, yeah, is the Watkins Glen 6 Hour because the GT cars will be taking place at the Nürburgring 24 Hour, of course, at the start of June.
Right.
So it means that these cars are not going to get BOP'd for 3 months after the race on the weekend at Sebring.
So this is it.
Yeah, they'll get BOP'd post race, which they normally do. and then that BOP will sit with them until Watkins in June 27th. So literally 3 months from this weekend is when they would next get BOP'd. They would then get BOP'd again for the Indy 6-hour in September. Would be the next event that they would then take place at, and then after that, it would not be until Petit Le Mans later in the year.
Yeah, it's
which is in
October. Yeah.
Yeah. So, to keep everyone up to speed, though, on some of those special events that are coming up, of course, the one that I think I'm actually most excited for a new special event this year, Jim, is the 1,000 kilometers of Portimao in the old HBD GT1 and GT2 cars. I'm very excited for that, and I'm going to race that race. I'm incredibly excited.
Yeah, that was going to be fun. I love the old the Nissan and the Audi.
Oh no, that's for the Road America 500.
That's right. Yes.
The HBD is the old open top.
Oh, I love that car. That's the best. That's the best $3 car on iRacing right there.
Oh yeah, it is indeed. So we're underway at Zandvoort. 90 minutes of racing to come your way. We will be talking about, of course, the special events all throughout the show here tonight. As you know, there's some amazing events coming up this year on iRacing. Get into the chat with us. Let us know any special events that you want to see happening, though, as Bozak's gone round at turn 3. So already, the new tyre model has caught out a victim, and it's Bozak of the night racing crew.
We'll go back and have a look at that in a minute.
Turn 3. Yeah, we'll check that out at the end of lap 1, as Nodovan leads the way to Simply Steve. Nick Beaver's had a good start in this race, already up 3 spots in that Acura. So he's already got some pace, and he's already looking contested here at this point here this evening. But that's a massive moment in this one for Bozak. It's now going to have to be an early stop in this race.
Nick's making a move.
Beaver.
Oh, we got another one off track.
Springflower, who we mentioned, Jim, has some phenomenal pace tonight, the Frenchman in the field. But he has struggled to keep this thing at reins. He hasn't been able to control the bucking bull that is the GTP car all throughout practice, and it's unfortunately cost him again here in the race. As I'm just keeping an eye on Bozak, he's still struggling. He's without a rear wing. He needs to bring that car now into pit lane, because otherwise he is going to fall further and further back in the field as Nodovan leads them across the line to start lap number 2. Let's have a quick look at, Jim, what happened there with Bozak.
So initially here, oh, sorry, bad camera.
That's fine.
Yes.
Just click on TV1 on the regular camera selector.
Oh, okay.
That's okay. I fixed it. So it appears that he's just pushed that little bit too hard, high side of the circuit, and then, just couldn't get it towed in or pulled up. So I reckon he's tried to brake late, and the thing's just not wanted to go.
That low side in that area, I forget what that turn is called, but I always call it like the soup bowl is what it reminds me of. But that being said, it's you get down low there, and man, the back end really wants to wash up, especially with these tires, I'm sure. So let's look at Springflower when he got off the track.
So it was another one of those slow spins, cold tires. Car just did not want to turn. Well, it wanted to turn in, but a little bit too much was to be desired there for Springflower, unfortunately. Through all of that, Nick Beaver has now gotten past Simply Steve up into P2 now.
Yep.
Steve with his teammate Eat My Dust in those, it can only be said, absolutely gorgeous Ferraris in P3 and P4. Loving those liveries on those cars. But Nodovan, he's got some pace. He set the fastest lap of the race on the opening, or on the second lap. It was a 1:33.5. Goes better this time by a 1:26.807 here to commence lap 3. But Beaver goes fastest, 1:26.7. The debris is absolutely cooking. So the big factor now is people have always asked for iRacing to be more and more realistic.
They're getting
this new tyre model is as realistic as it's ever going to get for the moment for the GTP car. You've then also got debris to deal with too. You've then also got the tyre wear as well, overheating the tyres. These things are going to be an absolute handful.
I wanted to go back real quick before we get too far in and see when Bozak had that other incident after he had lost his wing. Let's see, he was running along there pushing it a little bit, and that's unfortunate.
it's just one of those moments. The rear gives way, big loss of downforce, of course, as well. So it is.
Feel
It's a
like
tough
you
go.
driving one of them old Peugeots.
I love Peugeots. I used to own a Peugeot actually. It's a great car
Oh,
until it T-boned a Toyota Yaris.
I was just, you owned a Peugeot GTP car? That's pretty awesome.
I wish. The 2008 Peugeot, I would give anything to own that car. That thing was absolutely fantastic. Or even the newer Peugeots as well, the WEC Peugeot when it did not have the rear wing. I mean, for the GTPs, of course, I think that Peugeot is the front runner at the moment to get into iRacing. The new Peugeot with the rear wing on it.
Yeah.
Oh, to see that thing in IMSA would be phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. But the issue is, well, it wouldn't be an issue now. If it came in, it would come in at the end of this, at the start of next season. But Paul DeResta races in LMP2 for United Autosports, so all of a sudden they'd be without a driver because he'd be going into the Peugeot to race for in IMSA as well as WEC.
Yeah, well, they it's going to be interesting to see what because the rumor has it we've got another GTP car coming on iRacing really soon.
It's the Lamborghini.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's going to be the Lamborghini, but now
the Lamborghini's been scanned. So,
and then we've got WEC is probably going to try to get the Aston Martin in there as fast as they can.
So pretty much the way that I always put it is, although they kind of ruined it by getting the Ferrari, was if it's in IMSA, it's going to be in iRacing. Because iRacing have got to deal with IMSA. So the Aston Martin will be in iRacing. The Lamborghini, which is in IMSA, will be in iRacing. So both of the, I know that the Lamborghini has been scanned, so it will be in iRacing at some point. I don't know when.
Right.
And then the Aston, you're probably waiting another year for it at least. I would say we get them both before Daytona next year. I would say the Lambo, they may hold out till season 4 to have it for Petit Le Mans and Indy, for the Indy 6 hour.
Oh, could be, yeah.
Oh, no, actually, no, they'd miss out on the Indy 6 hour because that's the end of season 3. So, yeah, it'd be in time for Petit Le Mans, I would say.
Yeah, my son and I stopped by Road Atlanta and bought some Petit Le Mans merchandise when we were coming back from his college visit over the summer.
When he went over to North Carolina.
Yeah, North Carolina, yeah. Yeah, so we stopped by. We hit on that road trip. We hit Charlotte Motor Speedway, Talladega, and Road Atlanta. So we stopped by 3 of the different tracks to check them out and stuff.
That's a pretty good race circuit road trip there, Jim.
Yeah, it wasn't bad for sure.
The comparable one could be is if I lived on Phillip Island, and then I went to the Phillip Island circuit. On the way north, went to Sandown, then went to Winton, and then went to Bathurst. That would be the only real applicable racetrack.
That would be a good one.
It would be pretty good.
The one I want to go to and didn't find out about until we were on that trip was I didn't know where Barber Motorsports Park was. Didn't really know a lot about it at the time, but it's right there in Alabama. We drove right by it, and that's the place with the big Charlotte's Web spider and.
Yep.
And apparently,
I wonder. I know that obviously we're both quite tall gentlemen, Jim. But I wonder how tall we'd be in comparison to the big spider.
I know, right? I do want to see the big spider.
I know that you're like, I know I'm 6'4", and I know that you're like 6'8". So
yeah, 6'8".
Yeah, I'd hope we'd both tower over the giant spider.
Probably not, but I know one thing: we would struggle to get in one of these GTP cars, considering they're about 3 foot high.
I would. Weight alone, I would not fit. Height alone, I would probably not fit either. I think the tallest driver is probably Sebastian Bordeaux, and I don't even know how tall he is off the top of my head.
I think he's about 6'1", but he's thin. He's
probably the
very
tallest.
thin build, though.
He is built like a twig.
Yes,
he's Sebastian Bordeaux. Doesn't drive like one, but is built like one. So,
You know who
Nicolated on
else
the
is?
back of. Who else?
You
Sorry.
know what's just kind of tall is Roman Grosjean. I think is about 6
Yeah,
foot or so.
Grosjean is about 6'2", I'm pretty sure. He's built like Sebastian Bordeaux. They build them different. Now, of course, both of them born in France, but Grosjean races. Actually, no, Grosjean was born in Switzerland, but he races as a Frenchman. Figure that one out.
Right.
And then yeah, Bordeaux is of course a French driver as well. So they're both built very similarly. The difference is Grosjean has burnt hands. And Bordeaux
Yes.
doesn't.
Well, I tell you what.
That was I watched
Anybody
that
who has
live.
never
That was
seen that
terrifying.
crash, if you've never seen that crash, you need to go watch it in a clip that doesn't cut away, so that you fully get
2020 Bahrain Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and that way you get the full impact of what happened there.
You watching it live because it was.
Oh, it was
in the race
insane.
On it about I think it was 3 a.m. or something like that for me, and yeah, late in the race, safety car restart, straight into the wall, fireball. It was terrifying, absolutely terrifying. It was. I put that down to probably. Like it's probably very similar to how terrifying Gilles Villeneuve's crash would have been at Nürburgring, or even Niki Lauda's crash at Nürburgring as well.
Right. Yeah. Gilles Villeneuve's was his it? Did he have one at Nürburgring?
Nürburgring. Yeah, that's where he died. He died in his crash at the Nürburgring.
No, not at Nürburgring, was it?
It was either the Nürburgring or it was Zolder.
Yeah, I don't think it was a Nürburgring. I might be wrong, but I'm a kind of a, like, I'm a big, like, old history kind of, you know.
I'm finding out for you. He died in Belgium. So, was it at Zolder? I think it was Zolder.
Yeah, it was, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't because of the situation, you know, how that all happened. Because he went back out. You know, there was if you've ever seen the documentary on that, his teammate at the time was the French guy. I can't think of his name.
So just
Didier.
Alan Prost?
No, Didier. And
so just to confirm, he passed away at Zolder for the Belgian Grand Prix. So yeah, it was Zolder that he passed away at.
And it was horrible rain, and Didier had out-qualified him. And Villeneuve had something to prove because of some incident that had happened like the week or two before, where Ferrari gave the race to Didier instead of letting Villeneuve win it, who should have won it because of the Ferrari rules or whatever. And so he was
it quite interesting that drivers who have passed away in a Formula One race, at least modern times since Gilles Villeneuve, only 2 of them have come not in the rain. So those big crashes where, so you know, Villeneuve was in the rain at Zolder,
yes,
and then at obviously that horrible weekend at Imola in 1994 when Roland Ratzenberger and Ayrton Senna died. That was in the dry.
And wasn't there another guy that wrecked that same weekend? There was another guy that wrecked that weekend and almost died.
Yeah. And then. Yeah, Suzuka with Jules Bianchi. That was in heavy rain. I watched that one live as well, Jim. So I've seen some things.
Well, I was around with Senna that weekend. You know,
it was Rubens Barrichello. He almost died as well. Chase. Yeah, it was. What a conversation to have during J2iCS. We talk about Formula One drivers who have unfortunately passed away during a race or nearly. And I think for me the most heartbreaking one was probably Jules, at least in my lifetime, because he's so young and just never really got a chance to shine. And
no, he
horrible. You know, the one positive we can take from Jules Bianchi passing away was it introduced the halo, which has saved countless drivers at this point. It saved.
Yes.
It saved. We spoke about Romain Grosjean. Saved Romain Grosjean. Saved Charles Leclerc at Spa when Fernando Alonso's car literally went over his head.
Yes.
Saved Lewis Hamilton at Monza. So the amount of drivers that is saved for Jules Bianchi to pass away is, I think, I love Jules, but it's a fair trade at this point for that to happen. Is
There's no doubt Grosjean got saved by that halo.
Oh yeah, yeah. Grosjean did 100%. He should have. Without that halo, he would have unfortunately, passed away.
Yeah.
Charles would have at Spa from the wheel hitting the top of the halo,
Yes.
because that was the first time that it proved how strong it was at Turn 1 at Spa. And then, of course, for Hamilton at Monza, when Verstappen's wheel hit the top of the halo as well.
Yeah.
So
Right.
the only one that really had no chance of helping was the F2 driver at Radion at Spa. Thibaut.
Yeah, like year before last.
Portier. Teo
Yeah.
Portier. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough weekend.
Oh, yeah. It was indeed. But right now, though, we've got some great racing at the front of the field. Nick Beaver has set a fastest lap of the race once again, a 1:23.5 at the front of the field. Nodovan still leads the way, though, 1:23.7. I suspect that Beaver may not necessarily want to go for the pass just yet here, Jim. We're only 15 minutes in, and he's still hot on the heels here of Nodovan. So might just want to try and save some fuel, tucking him behind him at the moment, and just keep moving their way forward.
I mean, at this point, the tires have, at this point, kind of just take it a little easier on the tires, be able to run a little lighter back there behind them, save some fuel. No need to make a big move yet. That's all it's going to do is put a strain on your tires and get you guys to start racing harder than you need to at this point.
Yep.
Got another nice battle back here, too.
We do. Eat My Dust, Nicolator, and Captain CK, three abreast at the moment. 3 of the 5 different manufacturers all in one shot here of the Ferrari leading to the Acura and the Porsche.
What a great
Personally,
shot
my
that
favorite
is.
GTP car in iRacing and in IMSA is the Porsche. I've grown to love it. I think it's just the affliction towards Matt Campbell, to be honest with you, at Porsche Penske Racing.
I told you I got to see those cars too, right?
Yep, you did.
Literally, we were 5 feet from his car.
Yep.
And it was right before Le Mans too.
So that little pass there of Captain CK over Nicolator has actually now managed to allow Eat My Dust just to push up the road a little bit more.
Yes.
And giving him a little bit of gap, but. I've grown to really love the look of that Porsche. It looks so nice, and I'm a bit disappointed. I'm a bit deep cut actually that Matt Campbell did not get to win Daytona or Sebring because they gave it to Nick Tandy and the rest of that 7 car. I really wanted Matt Campbell to win, but. Can't always get what you want, I suppose.
So you know what I like about these GTP cars in general now, or the hybrid cars? The fact that none of them look the same, really. They do, but they don't. They all have their own personality, and I love that.
You look at them.
Yeah, you can.
You look at them, and they look like they represent the car brand that they're based on. Because, of course, they're based on a road car. So they have to have similarities to a road-going car. They have to look like a production car from, BMW, Ferrari, Acura, Porsche, Cadillac, Lamborghini, Peugeot, and Aston Martin. But you look at them, and they look like the brand. They represent the brand so well. The only one outside of that, which I know has a lot of love for it, was the Glickenhaus. Also the Alpine as well. Who can forget about the Alpine? But the Glickenhaus. I mean, they didn't have road-going cars, so I know everyone was sad when Glickenhaus stopped, but I don't know.
The car lives on.
I'm a purist, Jim. It lives on, but I'm a purist, Jim. I actually think that for the GTP, for racing at least, the team and the car, it needs to be an actual manufacturer car. So you can have a team like Team Hertz-Joda, who races in Porsches or Cadillacs, but they're racing an actual road-going brand.
Right.
It's not their own car. I don't know. I'm a purist like that when it comes to racing.
To me, I agree. That's what sports car racing is.
Yeah.
It's born out of racing sports cars, and those were road-going cars. It kind of came out of that. If you want to go to, one-off, unique type cars, that's what things like Formula One are for.
Yeah, exactly.
But I love manufacturer involvement in sports car racing. To me, that's what makes it. There's brand loyalty. There's people that it doesn't matter what, they're just loyal to that brand, and then there's people that are loyal to drivers, and if they jump cars, they jump brands too, Did you mention Toyota
they jump
earlier? Did you say
Oh yeah,
Toyota?
Toyota as well. How the hell could I forget about Toyota?
I didn't think so. I was running through the names in my head. I was like, did he mention Toyota? I mean,
No, I
that's
forgot about Toyota.
that's one that's going to pop up in a few places, I think, soon too. Meaning
I suppose
sim racing.
Toyota. I mean, I haven't watched any of the WEC yet this year, but I feel like last year Toyota was nowhere near as dominant as what they've previously been.
Right. No, absolutely. The field definitely caught up.
It's more or less been Porsche in WEC and Ferrari that were the dominant factors last year. Teagish, though, further back in the field in the 97 Acura at the moment, has a little slide.
Yeah, not bad, though. He has a pretty decent save, actually. Saw that pop up, and I figured I'd go take a look and see what's going on. Yeah, these two are having a nice little battle right here.
Yeah, they're keeping this one going as they try and chase down Eat My Dust further up the road. So Nicolator's got that position back. They've got about 2.2 seconds to gain to get up to Eat My Dust at this stage.
I'm not going to lie to you, that Porsche is a good-looking car, man.
It really is. It looks absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of the way the Ferrari looks myself. And I'm not one of those, Ferrari riders, jock riders or whatever you want to call them. I'm not a big, Ferrari, enthusiast or whatever. But I just like the way the car looks. The Porsche to me drives really nice. The Porsche to me drives the best.
Yeah, in fact, actually, I don't even know if I own the Porsche. Let me see if I actually own the car. I haven't driven the GTPs that much. I own the BMW. I bought that as soon as it came out because I needed a GTP car, and it was the only one. Do I own the Porsche? I don't even own the Porsche, Jim.
See, what kind of fan are you?
Well, I own the BMW. I own the Cadillac. With, mind you, I own the Cadillac, but I have a Corvette livery on it. It looks sick. I want a Corvette GTP car, please. And I think that might be it for GTPs. Yeah, they're the only two I
own every GTP in iRacing with the exception of the Acura. And when they had it, when it was ahead of the BOP for all of Daytona week, I almost bought it that week. Just because.
So I'll give you my reasoning why I don't own all of them. I don't drive that often, and I only need one car in the session.
Sure.
So I bought the BMW because I needed a GTP to race when I was racing. I then bought the Cadillac because it was the hot new toy, and me and my friends who raced together, we wanted to race the Cadillac, so we bought the Cadillac. Ever since then, I haven't raced the GTP, so I haven't needed to buy the BMW, the Acura, the Ferrari, or the Porsche. So, I haven't needed to buy those cars.
Well, I mainly run
GT cars. I bought.
Okay, yeah.
I bought the GT cars. Bit of door-to-door action between Nicolator and Captain CK. So they're starting to get a little bit feisty here. We're only 23 minutes into this race, so still a long way to go, Jim. We're not even a third of the way through. And both of these guys are getting into an intense battle here already. This is all for P5 on the road. This was turn 1.
Oh, he slid up into him, yeah.
A little bit of washout there, mid-corner for Captain CK, and that's then caused the contact. But they've kept going. No one's they've come out unscathed, relatively speaking.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah. So I own majority of the GT cars.
Yeah, I own way too many of
Because
those.
I race GT cars, so I've got when I do race, I race GT cars. So I've got the Acura, I've got the Beamer, I've got the Corvette, Ferrari, I've got the Ford, I've got the McLaren, the I don't. And the only ones I don't own is the Porsche and the Merc and the Audi. I think they're the only ones I don't own for the GT3 class. Strictly because it's just, again, I don't drive that often, and I've bought cars. I've bought the newer ones because I've wanted to race them, and I haven't had to go back and buy the Audi or the Merc at any stage, so I haven't
Well,
needed to, or the Porsche.
I bought the Merc the day I joined, like as soon as I got in to where I could race those cars, I bought it
Yeah.
because I thought that I was going to love that car because I like the way it looks, and I
Yeah.
thought that I was going to love it, but I absolutely hate the way it drives. Let's
Yeah.
let's see what happened back here. Let's pop back here and see what's going on real quick. Looks like it's going to be a single car episode. We went off track.
Oh, so he's going for a joker lap. He found the road on the outside of the circuit.
Yeah, I didn't know if that was all of it or not, though. I was thinking it might have involved a little more than that.
Well, if we head back up towards the front, Jim, once we're off this, Nick Beaver is still hot on the heels of Nodovan, and the lap time. Are we back on live, actually? Yeah,
we are now.
The lap time between Beaver and Nodovan when we head back up to them. So last lap prior to this one, for the fastest lap between both of them, Nodovan 123.574, Nick Beaver 123.564. So only 100 separates their lap times at the moment. Beaver hasn't gone for that move just yet. He's playing the smart game. He's saving some fuel in the toe, saving the tires as well. And I would assume he's probably saving as much fuel as he can to try and jump Nodovan in the pit lane when they come in for their one stop halfway through this race.
Well, we know that he's saving some fuel, because this track has a couple of draft spots, and he's been behind him enough to use that draft whenever possible. So I think we clearly know he saved a little. And if he hasn't went for the move, then he's probably driving in such a manner to try to save even more, So, and I think Nodovan's not pushing it 100% right now, but it's a lot harder to save fuel out in front.
Oh, it's so much harder. I mean, you're without the toe. You can clutch into corners, but it's only going to save you so much in comparison to clutching in whilst in the toe as well. So I think the reaping of the benefits is going to be going in Nick Beaver. We know he's got pace. He'll be saving the fuel, saving the tires at the moment. It will likely be, if he comes out ahead of Nodovan, the test will be for Nodovan to not push too hard too early to burn out those tires.
Right.
And actually then having to wait and then go for the move. So I think at this stage, for Beaver to still sit so closely behind Nodovan at the moment, he's holding the cards in his hands. He's the one with the full house at the moment, where I think Nodovan is maybe only playing with three of a kind. He could maybe, get the benefits of it, but more than likely that when they reveal the cards that they're playing with, Beaver's going to be the one that will get the pot.
Now, that being said, we know these two guys were, going to be some of the class of the field, obviously, tonight. Especially with Squilliam not here. But, we talked about Simply Steve's pace, but, now we're 28 minutes into this race, and Simply Steve is almost 14 seconds behind.
We know, though, Jim, the caveat to that is Nodovan and Beaver can run these laps consistently.
Yes. Yes, they can.
Nothing against Simply Steve. We do not have that as proven ground for him. It has not been proven if he has the ability to run those consistent, fast laps. These guys are running consistent qualifying laps, pretty much.
Still in the 123s for the most part, almost every lap. And, that's... Not that Steve's running bad laps, but they're a half a second to a second slower, Eating My Dust is not doing bad. First race back.
He's doing pretty. I mean, you know what, Jim? New knee.
Oh yeah.
mechanical as it might be. We'll call him a cyborg from now on, shall we?
No, we don't know if
got
he's
that
got
metal
a.
in the
We
knee.
just know he had knee surgery. He didn't might not have
True.
had a replacement.
So,
He might
then
not
the
be
question
bionic.
is, okay, well, if he's had an ACL or an MCL fixed,
Yes.
he's not racing.
No,
The
that's
only
not
way
even,
he's racing is if he's had a replacement.
No, that's not true at all. There's technology nowadays when it comes to knee surgeries, man. It's a far cry from just
In
what it
saying
was.
that in saying that as well, though, we don't know which knee was replaced or
That's
which knee
true.
was fixed.
Could be his throttle
it's
leg.
if it's the left knee, he's fine because he can just right foot brake. If it's the right leg, a bit harder.
All right, I
Then
think
you're having to.
that. Yeah. Well, we're not going to get a caution, so we'll never have the opportunity to talk to him during the race. But I want to know now. Inquiring minds want to know.
Well, we could send a little sneaky Hamish off to inquire maybe if we want to at some point.
Well, I mean, I don't want to, I don't want to pull an Al Corey on him or anything.
No, I mean I could go down there during his pit stop and ask him.
Well, that's true. That's true too. Without bringing him up here, huh? Oh,
yeah.
Oh, did I?
Oh, eat my dust off the road.
Literally, as I clicked the camera away.
I don't like to claim commentators' curses, Jim.
Yes,
I don't think the commentators' curse exists. It's just complete irony.
Yes, there it was, in all its glory, the irony.
All its glory.
Yeah, literally, right as I clicked the camera away to go back up front, I saw his car look like it was doing something weird.
It was definitely doing something weird. It was playing the game of getting the Spade and Bucket Award by going into the sand trap. So he's now having to push his way back on once again. What? How was... I just saw Ryan Schwab was 200ths away from Bozak at the back of the field, but that is not a thing. That is not a thing at all. He's right there with him.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
I mean...
full position as well.
Yeah. It's actually one of the closer battles on the track right now.
I'll tell you what, Jim, the one thing we're going to have to do is when a Cadillac comes into pit lane, Nottingham, for example, we're going to have to sit on board.
Just to hear it?
We got to hear the electric motor kick into the V8 as it pulls away. Because it is one of the tastiest sounds, hearing that thing just kick into gear.
Well,
as they drive out of pit lane.
Remind me, and I'll give us a crank it up during that moment too.
Very good, because it is one of the best sounds. You hear it. You watch IMSA or WEC. Oh, Ryan Schwab though, Garlic Dog, who's not got his name set in the SDK, mind you. Garlic Dog.
Garlic Dog
has gone off track. Garlic Dog, what a name!
That is a name. I don't even know what to think of that name.
Well, Garlic Dog is, of course, the arch nemesis of Vampire Dog. So,
oh, of course he is.
Vampires are like garlic,
right? Of course he is. What was I thinking? At some point in time, you can explain to me who Vampire Dog is, because apparently I don't know.
And it was not an actual thing. It was just a joke about vampires and garlic, Jim.
Oh, I thought there was really.
No, it's not that deep. It's not that deep. It was literally just a reference about vampires not liking
Okay,
garlic.
now that was funny. Okay, because you got me. So that makes it even funnier.
Thank you so much. I've just noticed as well, Biker Pilot's just had a dropout and he's ended up back in P13 now. DC's also disconnected from the session, so both of them are gone, unfortunately, from this race. Troy Banks, Urko, Gavin Amerman did not get going, so we have no BMW on track here this evening. So it is only Cadillac, Acura, Ferrari, and Porsche. One of each manufacturer is inside of the top four at the moment as well.
Yep. Indeed they are.
Yep. So at this stage,
I think
the BOP, just quickly, is massaging to the Cadillac.
Oh yeah,
there are five left in the field.
Clearly.
The field at this stage.
I really like Simply Steve's livery though, that chrome with the with
It
a
is gorgeous.
popsicle on
It,
there. It's
yep. It looks phenomenal.
it does, yeah. See what old
Yeah,
Nicolator's not too far back there.
I think he's running consistent laps. Keeping himself
Their
nice and
cars
clean.
remind me of the Nick's car remind me of the like Miami Vice '80s kind of
Yeah,
vibe.
this is really giving me we need to have a business meeting, so let's do a nice presentation in the style of 1980s tech.
Yes, that's right.
That's what it is giving me. But I do appreciate that. I used to have a podcast called Beyond the Apex. Now, and the opening of the show was very 1980s tech and very similar to Miami Vice. So
Well,
I can appreciate it.
I was a huge Miami Vice fan.
I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto Vice City fan, so
Yeah.
I'm excited for Grand Theft Auto 6 because Vice City is my favorite of the 3D trilogy. A lot of people say San Andreas is the best, but I love Vice City. I think it's just fantastic. It's a great setting, and I look forward to seeing it in modern tech. As T-Gish has had a moment here in the Acura, it seems, in the 97 car.
Another one of them partial spin. Boy, I tell you what.
Yeah.
He gets them under control though. He doesn't never lose it. I mean, he's had a couple of those.
He holds brace. Yeah, thank you so much, Bike Bolt. That's right. Vice City for the win. It is elite. It is elite. San Andreas, it's a good game. That map is way too big. It is way too big. It takes you forever to get from one place to another in San Andreas. Vice City is almost a perfect game for Grand Theft Auto Vice City. I think, realistically speaking, the fact that GTA 5 has been around now for 12 years, Jim, GTA Online, GTA 5 is probably my favorite Grand Theft Auto game. Realistically, it's the most I've played, but Vice City holds a special place in my heart. That game is phenomenal. And yeah, I'm excited for GTA 6 to come out later this year. I think it's going to be spectacular. It's probably going to break every single record ever in terms of most copies sold and highest revenue on an opening gate. It's going to be probably one of the biggest games of all time.
I can't argue with that. I remember when they released the latest Skyrim, and what
Elden Ring.
Yeah. With when the big Skyrim came out, the one that had all the Elder Scrolls or whatever it was.
Yeah, Elder Scrolls. Yeah, Elder Scrolls Online.
That game destroyed the records for a while there.
I mean, the fact that, and we do it to ourselves by pumping way too much money into Grand Theft Auto, but the fact that Grand Theft Auto 5 has been around now for 12 years, this is the longest period between Grand Theft Auto games ever, by quite a long margin, mind you. The prior to that was, I think, San Andreas to GTA 4, which I think was 4 years.
Yeah.
Oh, no, actually, no, then it was GTA 4 to GTA 5, which was 5 years, but of course, in that time, you got the expansions of Ballad of Gay Tony and The Lost and Damned. But it's, to have a game run that long and be that popular for 12 years is unheard of. I think the only other game I can think of, outside of maybe iRacing, it's a game, it's a sim, it's a game, it's different. Outside of that, I actually think the only game that even comes close to worldwide phenomenon of still constant players is probably Minecraft.
Oh, well, definitely Minecraft.
Realistically.
My son is, I mean, they're still completely fucking, I'm just obsessed.
You nearly swore then on the
did.
stream, Jim. I caught that. It's fine. I've done it before too. It's all good.
I didn't, though. I stopped it.
I still get my little 2 weeks Minecraft fix in every probably 3 months.
Yeah, my son is 17 and his friends, they all still Minecraft. There were some other games that had some pretty decent runs. Skyrim is still on a run.
No, it is.
I mean, people still play it.
For a single game, I mean, Skyrim as a whole, for all of the
the main one though, the Elder Scrolls one is.
Even, League of Legends or World of Warcraft as well. I mean, World of Warcraft probably not as popular as what it was back in the mid-2000s, but it's still going strong.
Mm-hmm.
League of Legends as well. even though how much I hate it, Fortnite is undoubtedly
Yeah.
incredibly
Well,
popular.
they're still trying to keep it alive, you know.
I prefer Apex Legends for my free battle royale style games. I prefer Apex Legends personally, but you can't deny it is very, very popular. A lot of people enjoy that game, and a lot of people still play it. So, but yeah, I think that GTA 6 is gonna probably blow everyone out of the water in
Oh, yeah.
terms of records made. I mean, GTA 5 holds records for nearly everything. And yeah, I think GTA 6 is probably going to blow them all out of the water. I'm hoping that the next Rockstar project after that, though, is Bully 2. I want a second Bully game. We've had Red Dead Redemption 2. We don't need another RDR game for a while. Give us another Bully game, please. Come on. Let's play as a different Bully for once.
So speaking of games, of course I'm gonna not remember the name of it now, even though I played it for years. My nephew created a mobile game that was number one on Apple for.
If you're about to tell me that your nephew is the creator of Flappy Bird, Jim, we're gonna have some words.
No. What is the name? Oh, I can't believe I can't remember the name of it. Hold on. I still got it on my phone. I just haven't played it in a while.
Oh, eat my dust, Jim. Sorry, he just had a big spin in the background.
Oh my goodness.
We're not on live. That's why. You need to make sure we're back on live, Jim.
Oh.
That would be why. Get caught up talking about games and we get caught up on the replay.
We were enjoying that.
We're having a good little yarn.
We were live as far as anybody knew.
Nick Beavers dropped back 5 seconds. How in the hell has this happened? Oh, Jim, you've got your UI up again. Make sure that's hidden.
How is that even? I'm not even over there. I don't even know how that happens.
I've got no idea.
Me either.
No idea. What has happened to Beaver to cause him to drop back? Yes, nobody noticed anything, guys. Keep going.
Exactly.
Well, we know that you disconnected Biker Pilot. We did mention that before, but how has Nick Beaver ended up 5 seconds back?
Right. If Biker Pilot, if he hadn't have caught me and called me out on that, I'd have been okay.
I'm doing a little bit of searching now, Jim, just to see how Beaver's dropped back so much time.
We would have seen that.
0.
We would have seen it if you.
Well, he's done a 29.0.
Whoa, really?
That was the last lap that he just did.
Oh, he went off track.
It must have been the last lap.
He went off track.
Oh.
Here it is right here. Look at me. Oh.
Beaver that went around. It wasn't Eat My Dust. Oh, okay. So that was the confusion then that I had. I was looking at Beaver, but the timing was on Eat My Dust on the replay. That's why it was confusing. Okay.
Right. Well, I'm gonna go back to live now, though. Yeah, well, that's opened that up a little bit.
Well, not only has it opened it up, it's now given Donovan a lifeline because Beaver's been saving fuel in behind him. So they can now go into their pit stop in the next couple of minutes, change those tyres, and Donovan should still come out in the lead of this race. So he's kept himself cool, calm, collected. I don't think there's any way that Beaver's managed to save himself 5 seconds worth of fuel to come out ahead of Donovan on the stop. And they're going to have to take enough that they can cover tyres. So I think the smart play here is they just take tyres when they take their fuel.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the obvious play here. Unfortunately for Nick, that spin, certainly, assuming he was on that strategy that we were thinking he was doing, unfortunately, that's kind of killed that off.
Yeah, he's now going to have to try and push on to try and catch up, and he's going to have to go full push to get it done.
These two here are getting along pretty good.
Yeah, they've been having a nice battle all throughout this race.
They really have.
So good, in fact, that we thought we were on live when we were watching them earlier. But Nicolator and Eat My Dust have been hanging out together majority of this race, and looking at it up close, Jim, that Ferrari is... It's pure pornography at this point. That livery is absolutely gorgeous.
It is sweet.
I
wish I could.
So nice.
We don't really have a zoom in camera. There's one or two that if you catch it at the right angle on the track, it'll get in pretty close.
Well, it depends what track pack you've got going, Jim, because I've got one with the F1 cameras and they are nice and close.
Well, I've got the F1 cameras, F1 and F1 2.
F1 2 is nice and zoomed in if you go F1 2.
Well,
Yeah.
let's see there.
Look at that.
Yeah,
That
he's got the bomb pop on the tail fin, and also the I think Steve had one on the side too. Yeah, I don't know if he does, but
oh no, he's gone off.
Here we done it
Why
again.
is it?
That's twice we've done it to him.
Every time we talk about Eat My Dust, he goes off the track.
That's twice.
He must be watching us. He must be watching the stream and knowing we've got him on stream.
Well, he probably blinded himself with that chrome livery because it's really good looking.
Yeah, a lot of shine off that one at this stage, but yeah, I love a nice. We call it an art car, Jim. I love a nice art car for a GTP or a GT
funny you
car.
say that.
If you're running.
Because Houston, I'm from Houston, and we have a art car parade here every year. And it's just funny you called it an art car because we have an art car parade here every year.
Well, I always think back to I think it was the eBay BMW GT3 car. That was an art car. It had all the multicolored lines down the length of it. Can confirm as well. Eat My Dust does have a bomb pop on the side of the car as well. Not just on the shark fin. It is on the side too. So,
yeah, he does.
See it just there. Yeah.
Let's see. Unfortunately, everybody's kind of spread out here ahead of pit stops. We don't really have anything super close on track.
That's kind of the nature of GTP endurance racing. Everyone will eventually spread out. Luckily, we get to talk about things then when that happens.
Well, right, which we've already done.
We get to have mindless conversations with no repercussions. Because what else, unless someone has an off track or we get a battle happening,
right?
We could give some background on the series, but that can only last us so long without us repeating ourselves. It's the way of broadcasting. It is the way of broadcasting. But at this stage, Nodovan is leading the way 45 minutes into this race. So we're at the halfway point now of this race here this evening. And for him, he could pit on this lap and make it home here of lap 33 on board with him now.
Let's go see him doing a little work in there, hammering the gears a little bit.
The one thing that I wish we had in iRacing, we got the hands moving on the steering wheel for the gear shifters.
Right.
But I wish in cars with stick shifts, we could see the hand move and actually move the gear shifter.
Oh, I know, right? Wouldn't that be cool?
They do it in Forza and in Gran Turismo. Why can't they do it in iRacing?
Well, they can. I think they probably just don't feel like they'd rather put their energy elsewhere.
I suppose true.
Which, to the overall, feel of the game, maybe it's not that important. It would be cool for situations like this or whatever, to go in car and see that. But the one thing I think we've learned is iRacing doesn't really seem to care if these races are broadcast or not. If they did, they would give us a little bit more time for the gridding process,
Oh, Eat My Dust is in pit lane.
Oh.
So first driver jumps into the lane in the Ferrari of Eat My Dust.
Unfortunately, we don't get to hear the cool engine sound from him.
Well, we would if we go on the roof.
Would we? Does his do
I believe so. It should do.
So, which is, let's see, I'm trying to think.
Left forward suspension.
Okay, yeah, that's yours, because you built that one, didn't you?
I did.
There, that one.
So he's waiting for his fuel. He has taken tyres. He went up to take the tyres.
Yeah, but...
No, this does not do it.
No.
Okay, so it must only be the Cadillac. Or the Acura.
So we're gonna get some pit stops here coming soon, though.
Yep, I'd say that Nodovan will be coming through the lane very, very shortly at the front of the field.
Well,
as he runs down the hill through the roller coaster-esque section here at Zandvoort. And up into this is the area I was speaking about pre-race, Jim. This is one of
Right.
the toughest spots on the track. You're trying to find a braking marker, get the thing turned in. It is the one spot that I struggle with every time I do laps around here. Everywhere else is fine. It's just this little section. As he run down the back straight of what is the second DRS zone of the F1 circuit here. This into the hard braking zone of the chicane. Another little tough spot as well, Jim. We've already seen multiple drivers struggling in that area here tonight under brakes and, of course, running up and around the banking. Does he come into pit lane this time by? Let's see.
Doesn't look like he's going to.
Nope. Kept going at a line of stern. So he's able to make it.
McAllister's in pit road.
Yeah, McAllister's in. Oh, that's a Cadillac that's in pit road.
Oh, is it? Oh, he is, huh? Okay.
Yep. Let's go on board. Let's hear that thing light up into life.
Was it? Oh, that's missed it.
Ah, that's okay.
I got to find the right camera for that one.
When Nodovan comes in, that camera will probably do it actually. So we'll catch it when Nodovan comes in.
Yeah, we're on that. Steve's coming out of there. Oh, there's his bomb pop. Look.
Hmm.
I'm completely way too fascinated with his popsicle on his car.
It's a great looking car. In fact, I'm looking at Gareth's car, which his name is G-Spot in the Discord. But again, his SDK has not been updated. He actually has a Lamborghini livery on his Cadillac.
Really?
Yep.
Who is
we'll
this
look at
again?
that afterwards. Gareth McAllister. We'll look at that afterwards, though, once we know that Nodovan's been through pit lane. Simply Steve, Captain CK, and Nicolator are in. So does Nodovan come into pit lane this time by? As he runs around the final corner. Is this the extent of the fuel 50 minutes?
No.
He's kept going. He's got another lap. So he's going long, Jim. This could play into his hands nicely because the longer he goes on this set of tyres, the less amount of time he has to go on the other set.
Yeah, that's...
Beaver's in. So Nick Beaver's in. So Nodovan's going to keep pushing on. Can Beaver try and undercut him here?
We're going to see. Based on the lap times that Nodovan and Beaver and those guys have been running, I'm going to say, probably not. I mean, he's not that far off of his qualifying laps. He hasn't dropped off near as much as I thought these tires were going to drop off. I mean, he's obviously very skilled at running consistent laps, but yeah, he has not dropped off like you would have thought.
Oh, he's managed to stay with him at this stage. Beaver's just coming out of pit lane now. Springflower is in the third placed
Springflower's in a Cadillac.
He is indeed.
Let's give it a whirl, see what happens.
So we await Springflower to get going just so we can get the payoff of the electric motor jumping over to the V8.
Right. Well, it sounds cool, so there's that.
It does.
It's a long pit stop.
Yeah, it is. Very, very long pit stop. Should be dropping now.
That's Nodovan just coming in.
Oh, there it is.
So now I'll go back to Nodovan and wait on it again.
2-for-1 special. Might as well.
Let's do different.
So he is still parked.
I was
The
trying.
fact that here we go, electric. There's the engine. Oh,
Talked
so
over
good.
it.
Wait for Bozak to come in then. Bozak will come in because he pitted on that one, so he has to pit. Wait for Bozak to come in, or Ryan Schwab, and then I'll shut up for a minute whilst they're in pit lane.
Got to hear the other one though. Springflower.
So Nodovan has come out of pit lane. He's come out of pit lane. 16. How in the hell is he? Oh, he gained 4 seconds in the pit stop. He took 4 seconds less worth of fuel because he went a lap longer.
2, wasn't it?
Massive.
2 laps longer? No, just 1.
No, so yeah, only 1. So is he just going to save fuel to get to the end now?
Oh, he might not have to. He might have got enough and still got 4 seconds out earlier.
Very well may have. Bozak's in. So get that sound. I'll shut up. We can sit on the gearbox camera Bozak and turn it up.
Missed it.
Already missed it. Go Ryan Schwab. Go him. He's in. He's actually pitting. So we're going to have 30 seconds of sitting in pure silence waiting for this thing to happen.
All right, we're going to crank it up, folks. The things we do to entertain ourselves.
Got to keep ourselves entertained, Jim.
Indeed. Don't mind us. Y'all talk amongst yourselves.
Crisp.
We've got the payoff now. We're good to go.
We got the payoff now. We got the payoff.
All right, let's see here. Let's go back out here and see what's actually happening on the track. Well, the unfortunate part is they seem to have kind of all really separated now after this pit stop cycle. I hope we weren't talking about all of our subjects too soon.
Jim, there's always something to talk about.
Always.
There is always something to talk about. We spoke about cereal, for Christ's sake. I mean,
we did.
There's always something to talk about, Jim.
Yeah, there was somebody out there going, you know what? I like that cereal too.
Exactly. There are some big Chex fans out there, I'm sure.
When it all comes down to it, the reality is we can call this what we want, but for the most part, we're all just a bunch of grown adult gamers in the end. That's
pretty much.
In some form or fashion for the most part. There are a few people that only have ever sim raced and don't game other than that at all, but for the most part, that's what we are.
But it's all people who came from playing games like Forza, Gran Turismo, Project Cars, Toka.
Right. Maybe
WRC.
you. I came from playing Atari, baby. I came from playing Space Invaders.
Hey,
pole position.
As Biker Pilot's friend likes to say, we're a bunch of sweaty nerds, and you are correct. I am a sweaty nerd. Hey,
That's right.
Jim, I came from playing the old F1 games on PC as a child, so from the F1 games to Toka Race Driver.
Just so you know, people didn't have PCs when I was coming up.
That sounds like a generational problem to me.
It was a generational problem. Man, look, I remember in my childhood, I had an original Pong game when it came out brand new.
Well, it's interesting, Jim. We both currently have PCs at the moment that are better than the computers that they had at NASA when they landed on the moon.
100%. Oh, yeah, way better. Our phone is better than the PC they had at NASA.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's so true.
I mean, can you imagine trying to run iRacing on that computer?
No.
It wouldn't happen.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
I want to see someone try and run iRacing on a late '90s computer. In fact, see how that works out for you. Well, Windows 95.
That's funny. I remember when the internet was coming out, and like people were like, "So, you know, where do you log on to this internet at?" And how do you find this internet?
Imagine, Jim, if you're one of the people smart enough to invest in Apple and Google.
I got one better for you. You ready? My brother-in-law, he's an ex-brother-in-law, was one of the 4 original founding members of Compact Computer. He was one of the 4 guys that left Texas Instruments and founded Compact Computer. And I know that my other brother-in-law, they're still married, they invested in Compact when it was $3 a share.
It's crazy.
And I think they bought like $3,000 worth of shares or something, and they sold it when it got to like $18 a share. And they're like, oh, we've made all, it's great return on our investment. Well, needless to say, there's no telling what that would be worth today. But yeah.
Well, it's like people who farmed the original Bitcoin.
Right. I still don't get Bitcoin.
Who was that who had a
somebody's
moment
dancing
there?
around back there?
Springflower?
Yeah, again, yeah.
It is, yeah.
Let's go see what
Cold
Springflower
tires
did.
pushed too hard too early. So this is at turn 1, so this is actually even earlier. Yeah, he's pushed too early. The tires are starting to get overheated now.
Yeah, well, they're hot now for sure.
So the problem now is, he's actually started to hold up Nodovan, which has now allowed Nick Beaver to get the gap down to 9 seconds. So fast lap of the race last time by for Nick Beaver, hit a 123.396. What does he do when he crosses the line this time as Nodovan enters turn 1? Has he gone any better? He hasn't, 124.287. So that lap traffic of Springflower has now cost Nick Beaver a little bit as well. It's held him up slightly.
Yeah. Well, Nodovan had a really fast Sector 3 there, too.
I'll tell you what I don't understand, Jim. NFTs. I don't understand how you can pay to have the original binary code of an image.
Good question.
I understand buying
Springflower's
physical
flying
artwork.
down the thing again.
He's coming down the lane. I think he might be done. No, he's back out. He's back out on track, but
he must have went and got some more tires or something.
Yeah, he went into pit lane. Oh, he's at another off track, unfortunately. So we won't ruin his night any further by showing that off again. Now he's towed. So that's not done, I would say, for Springflower.
Yeah, this tire combo and track did not sit well with him all night. So
no, it did not, unfortunately. Ironically speaking, though, people who have purchased the licensed cars on iRacing technically own NFTs.
Yeah, technically, right?
Yep, technically the cars are counted as NFTs, as are the tracks. They just don't have a
except for we don't own them. We're leasing them.
License.
Yes,
yeah, we're licensing them, which is the same as licensing an NFT. So it's pretty interesting how that works out. As Nodovan has now gained some lap traffic once again, so he'll have to deal with Jason Wanaki. Simply Steve has... So Simply Steve at the moment is still just rolling around at this stage. Let's keep an eye on Nodovan, though, and continue following him as he runs through the lap traffic of this circuit. He's now hot on the heels of Jason Wanaki for this stage of this race. And this is now one of the toughest parts of GTP racing, of endurance racing, dealing with the lap traffic. And realistically speaking, they don't have to deal with the major issues of other endurance races or other multi-class races. There's no multi-class, there's no GT3, there's no LMP2. You are just dealing with GTP cars who are down a lap, which makes them a little bit harder to get past because they are as fast as you. It's not like the LMP2 and the GT3 where it makes it a little bit easier to get past. But at this stage, he's flying. He's got 8.2 seconds over Nick Beaver, and he's laughing. You know, he's front of the field, got some good pace. He's got 27 minutes to go until he is at the checkered flag. And for Nodovan, it looks to be a nice cruisy end to this race. Get into the chat, though. Let us know anyone you guys want to keep an eye on here this evening. Give us any queries, any questions you may have for myself and Jim, or anything else you want us to talk about as well. We've got 27 minutes to chat about nearly anything on this show here this evening for the J2iCS Endurance Series here at round 3 for Zandvoort as well. the sun is shining. We have not had any cloud cover at all in this race, and Nodovan has been absolutely rocking and rolling at the front of the field. One thing, I mean, we had a little bit of a chat, a little bit of a discussion about some different GTP cars, of course, that are in the world of racing through WEC and IMSA. It would be absolutely phenomenal to eventually get all the GTPs on iRacing. Of course, the Toyota, I think, is on top of everyone's list. Of course, the Peugeot, the Alpine, the Lamborghini, which has been scanned, and the Aston Martin as well would be all phenomenal to get on the service of iRacing. We're still awaiting the release, though, of the Lexus GT3 car. It has been scanned by iRacing. Be interested to know when that does actually come out. When we do finally get that Lexus GT3 car that has run in IMSA for so long. It's one of the oldest cars in the IMSA field for the GT3 cars. Other than that, get the Janetta in, you know, get some of the other GT cars that we don't have just yet. I think it'll be absolutely fantastic. So, Jim, at the top of your list, what would you want for a GT3 car in iRacing? I mentioned the fact that the Lexus has been scanned, but we're waiting for it to release. What other GT3s would you want? I want the Bentley. Even though it doesn't run anymore, I want the Bentley.
I do too, actually. That was the car I was probably most intrigued by when I got on ACC, which I'm not a big ACC fan. I just don't like the physics of it, I guess, or, you know, especially the braking. But that was the car I was probably most intrigued by. Yeah, the Bentley.
I mean, we don't have the GTR.
True.
On the service. I'd like the GTR. Not likely going to happen because it doesn't race anymore.
Right.
Same for the Bentley, unfortunately.
Yes.
I'd love for the Bentley to come in. If there is a GT3 car that sounds as angels would sing, it is the GT3 Bentley. That pure guttural engine sound. Hearing that on a race weekend for the Bathurst 12 hour, it was... I've only ever seen it on TV, but it just sounds gorgeous.
That Mustang in person... Let me tell you, we went to a Red Bull event here in Houston, my son and I, and they had all the cars. You know, they had pretty much all of the Red Bull cars. They had the Formula One car, they had the Mustang GT3 car, they had the drift car. The which one?
They have the supercar.
They did not have a supercar. They did not. They had the drift car, which is the older one.
Mad Mike's,
yes,
Mad Mike's,
but it was it was one with it was a it had a Mazda engine in it. It was a it was a what was it? It was a
because I know that
McLaren. It was a McLaren.
He put the rotary in the McLaren. He took a Mazda GTP rotary and put it into a McLaren.
Yes, that's the car he had there, and he had and we had an off-road truck and something else I don't remember. But anyway, man, this Formula One car sounded cool, and Mad Mike's car sounded insane, as you can imagine, right? But there was nothing like that Mustang, man.
I remember he took I can't remember what, I think it was an old Mazda station wagon that he had converted to a drift car. He took it to Tokyo Auto Salon a few years ago, and that thing just looked, from what I saw in the videos of it, it looked absolutely immense. The videos I've seen of that McLaren, insane. I mean, Mad Mike is living it big. Coming up from the streets of New Zealand,
right,
with nothing in his pocket to where he is now, that guy deserves everything. He is immense, and the talent that he has is immense as well. So it's pretty cool the things that he gets to do now with Red Bull. Similarly to guys like Toby Price as well, doing Dakar and Fink and all those sorts of races as well. There's
that livery you were talking about.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
the Lambo livery. And you know what? From afar, doesn't look like a Cadillac.
No, it really doesn't.
You blink and it just looks like a Lambo. It's the same thing for the Corvette livery on the Cadillac. I'll have to show you post-show, Jim, once we're out of the session, so you can see what the Corvette livery looks like in the car. It looks like a Corvette GTP. It looks sick. It was one of the first liveries that came out on the Cadillac, and I've not changed it since I got it. It looks immense, and you know, I like when, because I think realistically the Cadillac, it's pretty bare bones in how it looks. When it doesn't have a Cadillac livery on it, you can't really tell it is a Cadillac. So when you put something else on it, it's pretty open air of you can make it look like something that it's not.
Right.
It's not like the Acura where realistically the only thing you can make the Acura look like other than Acura is probably the Alpine.
Right.
Um,
Right.
BMW, you got no hope because of the front end. Porsche, same thing. The um, the Ferrari,
The
I mean,
Ferrari just has a look.
it's
The whole
distinctive.
car,
It's
yeah, the
very
whole car has a
distinctive,
look.
yeah. Yeah, it's very, very distinctive. The Cadillac is very basic in terms of its aero package and its look. And when you put something on it with the right kind of decals, you can make it look like something else that it's not. Um, and it's
Well,
probably the only one that you can
there's
do it
nothing
to.
wrong with putting a Corvette livery on a Cadillac anyway, so
They're both GM products. I don't see
yeah,
any problem with it.
no,
You
that's
know,
fine. I do have issues sometimes though when people put a livery on a, like a Ferrari livery on a Porsche.
oh no, you know what? I love that. It's hilarious.
No, no.
Someone put a
I'm just,
Ferrari livery on the Corvette and put a Corvette livery on the Ferrari, and it looks hilarious.
I don't know. I'm
The
just
one that I
not a
the one
fan
that
of
I
that.
don't like, but I do laugh at because one of my friends gets more heated than I do, is when someone puts a Holden livery on a Ford or a Ford livery on a Holden. That is hilarious when people
Well,
do that.
that's an Australian thing. To be honest, I didn't even know what a
Yeah,
Holden was.
it's
It took
a
me.
great. It's a Chevrolet or a Vauxhall with a line on it.
I used to. It's funny. I used to watch the supercars back in the day when like ESPN used to broadcast them at like 3 in the morning or something over here in our time or whatever.
Yeah,
And it was back before ESPN had a lot of programming. They used to do Australian rules football, which was fabulous. That was another 3 in the morning. Come in from a bar and watch some Australian rules football before you go to bed. And
Jim. The one thing I'll say to you is so. A, you have an Australian friend who can watch football with you at some point because not all of
yes,
our games are at 3 a.m. for you. Some of them are earlier, in the evening for you. Like, well, if it was a Saturday now, there'd be a game on, so you'd be able to watch the Saturday afternoon game. But in saying that, on the Supercars YouTube channel, do you know what they've been uploading over the last probably 2.5 years?
what old stuff, old
Old
footage.
Supercars races,
Yeah,
old
I
Supercars
mean,
races with
that was my
commentary as well.
introduction to it. Like I had a
Yep.
lot of respect. Like even before, like I think that American, especially stock car people, became aware of supercars when Marcus Ambrose came over. See, and
Yeah.
like I
Or
knew
when
who.
or when Darrell Waltrip went to Bathurst and they broadcasted it on speed. I think
I
it was
don't
in
remember that.
2008 or
Did
9.
he?
Yep. Oh, Jim, we're gonna have a good time after this race because I'm gonna show you Darrell Waltrip on a hot lap of Bathurst with Jason Bright. It is hilarious. It is one of the
Oh,
funniest
I
things
can
I've ever
imagine
seen.
him cutting up in there because he's
He was
already, when
terrified.
he's not behind the wheel, he's already kind of that way anyway.
He was terrified. So yeah, we're gonna watch that. We'll have a quick watch of that post show. But yeah, the supercars. If anyone's interested in learning more about old supercars races, specifically like mid 2000s, the Supercars YouTube channel has got like nearly every single supercars race in the mid 2000s. It is incredible, and you've got stuff from the late 90s, early 2000s, mid 2000s, even into the 2010s. So you can go back and watch a whole heap of old races of drivers you never would have heard of.
Right.
It's an absolute classics. I mean, it's not just obviously Bathurst goes for a long time. You need a day to watch a Bathurst race. You can
Yes.
go back and watch a random race at Wanneroo Raceway from 2004, and it goes for like an hour. So if you got like a spare hour, you go back, you watch an old supercars race, you'll learn a bit more about the cars, learn a bit more about where they've come from. Pre 2006, they're H patterns, so they're like, they're having to change gears, they're having to heel toe all the time. It's pretty immense, and you can
Well,
see some of the best drivers in Australia at their peak in that period. So
that's
I
a
highly
skill.
recommend.
That's a skill that is lost now. Good heel toe driving.
Australian drivers still do it, Jim.
Do they?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. There is you are hard pressed in supercars now to find a left foot breaker.
really.
You are hard pressed, and it's so rare, in fact, that when someone is, they actually have a specific foot cam in their car to show that they left foot brake.
Because it's so rare. That's
It's so
interesting.
rare. Yep.
Yeah, I grew up during what I would call the heyday of sports car racing. The 80s and 90s when the Nissans came out and was dominating, and Jaguar launched Le Mans with just tons of old Formula One guys driving, and oh man, that was such an era, which is, I guess, why I'm probably so attached to that little Nissan and Audi in iRacing. I wish they had more of those old cars, like the 929 Porsche, I think it was 929. I think.
Yeah, I love, and I want to be able to race it at some point as a series, the old Audi GTO as a sports sedan series.
Mm-hmm.
So just a whole field of them as a one make.
Well,
incredible.
they got a league that does that.
Yeah.
They do have a league that does that, where everybody races the Audis.
Even to get old '90s GT cars like the Supra, the Skyline, and the NSX and the Porsche, and run a JGTC series, an old Japanese GTC series. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, well,
if we could ever do that.
Somebody was talking to me about that. I don't remember who it was, but they did it in another game where those cars were available.
Probably would have been Assetto Corsa or
maybe it was.
Or something.
Maybe it was Assetto Corsa, but it was one of those mod games, I think. So it probably was a Assetto Corsa.
Well, we've got 14 and a half minutes left, Jim. 9.7 seconds between Nodovan and Beaver. So I think Beaver's actually just decided that he's going to give this one up now to Nodovan. In fact, Nodovan set the fastest up the race, 123.365.
That's
300ths faster than the fastest lap previously done by Nick Beaver over 396. So it's he's flying at the front of the field.
This is the best. This is the best battle on track right here.
It is. It's Eat My Dust, Gareth McAllister, or G-Spot, as he's also known, and Nicolator as well, all involved.
Oh, G-Spot. That's great. This is the only league I broadcast where they actually use nicknames,
Yeah, they use the Discord names. It's the only one as well for me, Jim. I
find it funny.
I come from that purest world of running their actual names, but it's quite nice. It's quite nice and different to come in here and have Discord names.
It was interesting the first week we did it because I was so not used to saying these names, these kind of names. But now I like it. Now I'm good with it. Now I like it. Oh,
it's a good time.
Oh, okay, he's all right. Oh no, we lost him. Where'd he go?
Oh, Gareth.
Yeah, he went off track. It looked like something funny happened. Yeah, that's all right. He saved it. He just dropped. Unfortunately, he lost that battle they were in there.
Well, now though he's in a battle with Nicolator, 5/10 back off him. So
there's
actually a battle between them now starting to happen.
That's going to be a good one too. I mean, I hate to not stay up there on the leader, but there's not a whole lot to look at up there.
No, I mean, he'll get his time to shine in the final few minutes anyway when he crosses the finish line. So,
right,
we got to try and give it as well.
Yeah, this is clearly the best battles on the track happening right back here in this 4th, 5th, 6th area, which often brings kind of some of the better racing. You got your one or two alien guys that are just a little bit faster than everybody else, and then you got that little pack that always runs together. I'll tell you what, Eat My Dust came back pretty strong for his first race back.
He's done well. P4 on the run at the moment. Got the lap traffic of Captain CK between him and Gareth McAllister of G-Spot in P5. Nicolator's P6 at this stage, just in behind G-Spot as well. But yes, close battle on track at the moment. Undoubtedly, only 5/10 of a second separates both of them as they run up the roller coaster run up the hill.
So I'm going to say that Gareth McAllister does not have a Ferrari livery. What he has is he has an Italian flag livery on a Cadillac.
It's a Lamborghini livery, actually.
I'm just
Jim.
kidding. But it's colors of the Italian flag.
It's also the colors of the Mexican flag.
Well, that's true. There's actually a lot of color.
And the Hungarian flag.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
And the Bulgarian flag as well.
I knew I opened that door when I did it.
You did. You opened the TISM door of flags.
That's right.
Welcome to Geography Class 101.
The TISM door. Okay, that's the best one yet.
I can say it because I have it. You knocked and I answered holding flags in my hand.
That's right. Apparently.
Yep.
The TISM door.
Oh, the Welsh flag as well also has red, white, and green.
Thanks for that.
Yep. Welcome.
Right.
Yep. Just pipe that one in there for you. I can't think of any others, Jim, to be honest with you, that are red, white, and green.
Who's the most famous Welsh person ever, probably? Well, not history.
Probably Bono.
Who?
Probably Bono.
Yeah, maybe. I could see that. I was going to say
either
Tom
Bono
Jones?
or Tom Jones.
He's had a 70-year career.
The world of football, probably Gareth Bale.
Yeah. Golf-wise, the only one I can remember that was Welsh was Ian Woosnam.
Yep. So famous, I don't even know who that is.
Exactly.
I know golfers, I don't know who that is though.
He was 90s. I caddied on a pro golf tour in 1993 for a year, and he was that was kind of during his heyday, so he was kind of known back then.
Now you've got me thinking of who is Welsh.
I think we've covered the majority of.
Taron Egerton is Welsh.
Okay.
The guy who plays Elton John in the Elton John biopic. He's in The Kingsman as well.
Okay. Yeah, I did not know his name, but
yep.
That Elton John movie, I'm a huge Elton John fan, and the first time I tried to watch it, I didn't get it. But then I went back and rewatched it, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think I'm yet to go and watch the Elvis biopic.
It's not bad.
And no matter how
it's weird,
no matter
though,
the inaccuracies there may be in it, I do really enjoy Bohemian Rhapsody.
You can't take it for historical.
As many liberties as they took.
Yes, a lot.
Quite good. And I do enjoy the Elton John biopic as well.
I loved Bohemian Rhapsody just for what it was, which is.
I loved it so much. I went and saw it twice in the cinemas, Jim. That's how much I enjoyed it. And then I bought it on 4K when it first came out as well. So.
Yeah, that's one of those I'll put on when I want something just in the background, or whatever. I love it. But yeah, it's a good movie. Yeah, it's like you said, it's not historically accurate at all. But
the big thing I can appreciate is they refilmed the whole Live Aid performance.
Yes,
they filmed the whole thing, and it's available on the special features. That I think it's a really cool thing that they did, because they had the stage set up. And they obviously went to the length of doing some of the songs. It's like, well, why don't you just do the whole thing? So they did for the extended version and in special features as well. So it's pretty cool they did that.
Yeah, they really did a good job with that film as far as, letting him sing some of the music, and they didn't.
The way they did it, they obviously they combined Rami Malek's voice with Freddie's, but also with the lead singer of the official Queen cover band.
Yeah.
Name.
What's his name? Mark.
Mark Miro. He's not Mark Miro.
No, Mark. He's
ironically,
good.
You brought him up. He's a Canadian guy from Toronto.
Of course he is. Yep. Yeah, he's really talented. Extremely talented.
Mark Martel.
Martel, yes.
Yeah, Mark Martel.
Yeah.
Also does a very good George Michael impression as well, does Mark Martel.
Does he?
Yep, he does. Because he actually pointed out to me, or to everyone on the video.
Shocking that you brought up that you brought up George Michael.
George Michael. You got to have some faith that I'm going to bring George.
There we go.
there you go. George Michael and Freddie Mercury actually have very similar singing styles. The difference is George Michael's is more nasally, so it's more up to the top of the mouth, where Freddie's was more to the front of the mouth.
I think we
And that's
found your
the
tism
difference
again.
between them. No, this was just me deep diving many, many years ago. Don't get me started on wrestling, Jim. We'll be here for hours.
On what? Wrestling?
Yep.
Oh, Lord.
Yep.
American wrestling?
As in like...
yeah.
You know,
But I mean
WCW,
American, because, you know, like
AEW.
Mexican wrestling is another whole animal in itself.
Jim, I love luchador wrestling. I also love Japanese wrestling as well.
Yeah, so there's that too.
Strong style is incredible. Just flattened knees to the side of the head. I don't know how they don't have CTE.
They do.
Well, you know, less so now. They've somehow figured out how to be stiff but not hurt people. So, you know, it's an art form in itself. I did see a comparison the other day that wrestling is just male drag shows, and I could not unsee it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, you think about the pomp and
especially back in the heyday of wrestling, like the 90s.
Of, Gorgeous George back in the 60s and 70s. Ric Flair.
Oh, Ric Flair was the king of it, man.
Yeah. You know,
I mean, Ric Flair was. I love Ric Flair.
Oh, yeah, definitely should have stayed retired.
Oh yeah, well,
should have stayed retired. Should not have come back.
I think he needed money for taxes.
Or his next divorce. Possibly.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Could have asked his daughter for it. He makes plenty of money.
Always. Who's his daughter?
Charlotte Flair.
What does she do?
She wrestles.
Oh,
currently.
does she? I don't follow wrestling too much anymore, but I did back in the day.
Actually starting to make a resurgence now, Jim. We're not going to go into the controversies of why on air. That's for a whole different show.
That is.
But no, it's making a resurgence now. It's probably the best it's been in a long time. For sure. Probably the best it's been in.
Hey, you know
since
what I'm going to do? Let's do this. Let's go look at this track from a blimp view. We haven't looked at it from the blimp. This is a gorgeous place located in the sand dunes of was it the Netherlands, right? Yeah, Netherlands.
Yep. Not too far away. Literally there's access roads that come into this circuit, but the next major road that this track kind of runs parallel with is on the beachfront. This track is a beachfront circuit, similarly to Daytona.
Phillip Island.
Phillip Island. Phillip Island's right. Yeah, that is actually not a beachfront, but it's a waterfront circuit. Yeah. What other US circuits would be beachfront? Sebring's not on a beachfront. That's
it's
on the inland.
Yeah.
Well, Long Beach.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is. So is Chicago. Technically, it's not beach, but it's lakefront.
It's waterfront.
Yeah, it's waterfront.
Yeah. Detroit as well. Montreal.
Yeah. Phillip Island. Waterfront. I mean, Bell's what is it?
Belle Isle.
Belle Isle. Yeah.
In Detroit. Yeah.
How do I not know that? It's a famous plantation, Belle Isle. Right from my neck of the woods, and also from the Fletch movie, by the way.
Interesting.
Don't get me started on Fletch now.
Love daughter Fletch films.
Yes, I love Fletch.
Jim's a big Fletch fan.
I am.
For sure.
Chevy Chase was hilarious. He's an ass, but he was funny. Or he is funny. Apparently he's brutal to work with, though. Nobody likes him. But anyway, the reason I just wanted to look at this track for a minute from the blimp is just the different topography from so many other courses, racetracks. It's all sand dunes, which is part of the reason that the area is so abrasive on tires. There's a lot of sand runoff areas, and, essentially the whole thing is sand, it's all built on sand, which also is what gives the turns, the banking, it's natural dunes that they took advantage of. It's a really cool, really cool track.
When they brought the banking back for the final corner, because originally it had banking and then they took it away.
Right.
They just built up the dune again to bring the banking back. So it's almost like, how Spielberg at the Red Bull Ring, is built in the valley, like in the Alps,
Yes.
almost. This is almost like a desert Alp style of track.
Well,
It's
sand
built with a
dune,
natural,
different
yeah,
than
sand
desert
dune.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, sand dune. Um,
This, more coastal, vibe.
yeah,
Like if you were placing this in the United States, this track would be probably in the North Carolina, South Carolina coastal areas.
yeah.
There's a lot of dune areas through there.
Well, even in California, they've got some dunes, don't
Yes,
they,
they
as
do.
well?
Yes, they do
Yeah,
actually, especially down in the San Diego area.
yeah. San Diego, sort of area down there. So
This,
I could see this. I could see this track down in San Diego.
we won't ever go into my San Diego stories.
Well, we got less than a minute left, so final lap of the
I
race
know.
for
Yeah,
Nottingham at the front of the
let's go
field.
ahead.
As he crosses the line,
There he
gets the
goes.
white flag with 30 seconds left to run. So he's actually starting to catch up to Nicolator and G-Spot just up ahead. But it's one to go for Nottingham in what has been an intense race. Nick Beaver's pushed hard to try and catch up to him, but Nottingham's been saving fuel this whole time. Has been running 26s as the average lap of the last few. So there's about 3 seconds between him and Beaver.
Just to give you an idea of the difference, this is what Beaver's looking at, and he can almost see the tail lights sometimes. he's out there a pretty good ways in front of him.
Yep.
Yeah, he's up
there.
there.
He is. That's not even right there. So he's actually starting to catch him at a rapid pace.
He is catching him at a rapid pace. He just made up a second right there. I wouldn't normally get to stay here, but I might just to see what happens. This turn right here is the one that kills me on this track. That turn gives me fits.
Oh, it's full fuel save for Nottingham. Full fuel save right now. I'm on board with him at this stage, but he's coming to the final few corners. Let's get that outside shot going, Jim,
we'll
of Nottingham's car, because
we'll get it.
He's had to work hard to get this thing and keep it at the front of the field. Save fuel the whole time. He looks to make it home with barely anything between him and Nick Beaver as they rocket round the final corner. For Nottingham, it's a win on the trot here at Zandvoort. Nick Beaver comes home P2. Simply Steve will look to come home in P3, a fair way back.
Yeah.
In fact, he's only just coming into that corner that we mentioned, Jim, before the back straight, so still plenty of time.
Let's get over there and see what he's got going.
Actually, Jim, how about you go on the gyro cam? Because then we'll be able to see that curve of the banking. Oh, it works out well. It's actually the pack that I gave you, which is the driver's eye cam, which has the gyro in the helmet. So
yes, it does.
We able to see this now. This circuit kind of ruins driver's eye because it is gyro, so the head is not staying like that as you go around the corner, but still.
I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It gives you some perspective,
Yeah.
Gives you some cool perspective.
Or you just think he's a bobblehead.
Exactly.
So I think my dust continues through as well. He's now caught he's about to catch the checkered flag. He's got G-Spot just in behind of Gareth McAllister in that Lamborghini liveried Cadillac.
There they go.
And what was an intense race for a lot of these drivers here this evening. It was a long one. A lot of endurance needed to make it to the checkered flag, of course. Only 11 finishes in the end out of the 14 that started this race.
Yeah, this was a tough one.
Very, very tough.
I think that between this track, which is notoriously tough anyway, and these tires, I think it was brutal.
Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal indeed. We've got Simply Steve in the interview waiting room. We will get his.
Talk.
Jim, I'll give you the hot ticket, Jim, before we actually drag them in. A little bit of inside base for everyone at home. If you scroll back through your incident report thing, make sure your replay is set to quarter speed and on a TV cam of some kind, and then scroll through and just find maybe go 20 laps back and find an overtake by Simply Steve or something.
Okay. Yeah. I was wondering how y'all did that. I always meant to ask, but
all the questions that have been answered. So even if you just find something that's 20 laps back, it's not Steve, we can always click on him
Well,
no matter
he's
what you find.
got him in the pits here.
You could, oh, you could. I suppose you could select him exiting pits.
Yeah, we'll do that. That's fine.
Yeah.
Um, okay. Yeah, go ahead and grab him.
We'll grab him as we his car up on screen. So now the beauty is you don't actually have to click another one. You just simply change over to Donovan or Beaver whilst we're in this replay when we chat to them.
Okay.
Simply Steve, congratulations. P3 on the road tonight in undoubtedly. We spoke this up throughout the broadcast. That Ferrari is pure pornography for that livery. The bomb pop livery of that car. That thing is absolutely gorgeous. It's managed to find yourself and your teammate Eat My Dust. Some great performance here tonight. P3 and P4 for your team respectively. But oh, buddy, let us know. I mean, what a race for you, P3. 40 odd seconds back, but a nice consistent run for you. How was that racing across 90 minutes at Zandvoort?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for the delivery compliments. It's like all my teammate did a lot of work on that. Super happy how it turned out. No, it's really good. I think honestly, from the practice sessions and the practice I did, I kind of knew I didn't have the absolute pace to go for the win. I tried to stay in touch as best I could, but really they both Beaver and Donovan just kind of pulled away. So yeah, happy with the result. I mean, kind of a sleepy race for me after they checked out. Try to push on the tires, get a little time back, but yeah, not too much strategy for me. Happy to be on the podium, but kind of showed up and survived, and that's kind of got me where I was. So
And so, I mean, how is it trying to keep yourself in check and in pretty steady mentality throughout the race? Of course, it's a long race. You can end up in a period where you're kind of left on your lonesome for a little while. How is it trying to keep yourself grounded and focused on what you need to be doing all throughout? Is it that you get into a bit of a cruisy period where you're just trying to make lap after lap, or you're still trying to push at some points as well?
yeah, I mean, honestly, if I were to categorize myself as a driver, it's like that cruisy state of like consistently putting in like laps over and over again. It's like I'm pretty decent at that. Like but it's that absolute push that over 90 minutes is still pretty tough for me. But yeah, I mean, I think just leaving a little margin on the table here and there, just like, all right, I don't need like there's like a turning point somewhere when the gap's 25 seconds. It's unless something super catastrophic happens ahead, you're like, all right, my job here, just 20 seconds behind, 20 seconds ahead. Let's just keep this together, leave some margin on the table, and I think I finished 0x or like very few X's. So I don't know. It's I think one of my strengths, but also weaknesses in the same way. So
I think it all balances out pretty nicely in that sense. I mean, it was obviously a long race, 90 minutes, roughly 2 stints in this car. What would it be normally? How have you found though this new tire model that's now come onto this car, especially with this track, which obviously is well known for eating up tires? What were some of the challenges in getting prepared and getting used to this new tire model on this car and really overcoming some of the challenges that may have been faced to you with that?
yeah, I mean, I think the challenge of the warm up, especially on that opening lap, I think like I haven't watched it back yet, but I know everyone was super skittish. It's like going too wide through. I think I went too wide through turn two, and it's just like really sketchy on those cold tires. So kind of knowing the limits, knowing what the car can do, like both under braking and under power, it's really easy to loop it. So you kind of have that opening lap where it's close, like temper your feet and your hands, but then you kind of have to go through that again to try to not lose on the second set of tires, because tires were free on this pit stop. So you're like, okay, how do I've been running on these hot tires for a full stint. Now I'm back in cold tires. I can't push the way I just was. So yeah, it's just kind of changing your mindset, and like there's a lot of laps, honestly. I think that's the way at least I've figured it out. So
So,
We've
real
had a
quick.
great run
Oh,
here. Oh, sorry, Jimmy, go ahead.
well, I was just going to ask you, could you maybe dive into just a little bit as to, for people that maybe haven't driven this car with the new tires yet, what's the dramatic difference? What are you seeing as the difference in these tires?
sure. So, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, like any tire, you got cold tires, they don't perform as well. And I think since these cars are really fast in a straight line, but also really heavy, kind of all the characteristics that were there before are kind of exaggerated. So, for example, your braking zone, you got to brake a lot earlier. So there's a couple corners. I think it's turn 8, that the downhill sweeper, which you have to brake pretty significantly for that, where you don't on full tires. Like you're down into third gear instead of fourth gear. You're backing up those braking zones. You're like, normally you can kind of push on the throttle a little bit, get a good exit, but on that first like 1 to 3 laps, you can get on the gas and you're in a straight line, you hit a bump and you spin and you're gone. So it's a lot of places where the car is normally really stable and like it's all the downforce, it's keeping it glued to the track, but on those cold tires, it's the wrong bump, the wrong like S of the track and almost a straight line, and like I feel like I lost it almost in every corner here during practice. So it's just really skittish under power, under braking, like mid corner. It's like the car just wants to kind of go. So you kind of have to learn like, okay, how much can the car take on that first lap?
Right.
So
Well, I appreciate that. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that haven't had a chance to drive them, or maybe didn't drive them a bunch with the other tire model, and so they'll appreciate that. But anybody want to shout out to while we have you in here?
well, shout out to my teammate, Eat My Dust, getting to P4, super good for the team. This is both our first race back. We had some stuff going on in the first couple weeks of the endurance series, so glad to be back. Glad to put some points on the board. If my girlfriend Natalie's watching, shout out to her. Any friends watching, and all the friends in the chat that get to talk to during the race. And yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations again on a phenomenal finish, and welcome back. And look forward to seeing you put some more points up and talk to you in the next few weeks.
Yeah, hope so. Thank you.
All right.
Next up, we have P2 on the road here this evening. Nick Beaver once again on the podium. Nick, great race from yourself. P2 on the road. You had some great pace and a great strategy of sitting behind Nodovan for the first stint of the race, but an unfortunate mistake for yourself then dropped you about 5 seconds behind. What was the strategy after that point? Because obviously you don't want to push too hard on this new tyre model, try and burn the tyres out. You're pretty much having to hope and pray that you can make something up in the pit stop, but Nodovan then takes a 4-second fast pit stop and extends the gap. So how was the mindset for you trying to push on and figuring out what may have been the best strategy for you going forward to try and take the win?
That is a mighty fine question. I
I
thought
pride myself on those, I must say.
yeah, no, that's great. So I thought maybe if I stayed behind him, I could save some fuel, but I came in right at the end of my fuel limit, and Nodovan went a whole nother lap, so that was extremely impressive. I'd like to compare, if Acuras versus Cadillacs, if Cadillacs could have stayed out longer. I think this interview is going to be full of excuses, so here we go.
Well, so I got a question for you. So
yeah,
we were plotting along the whole time that we knew you were back there saving fuel. You weren't going to try to make a move on him, and we knew that you were saving, and we had it all plotted out in our heads, just like you did, that you were going to be able to gain a lap or two of fuel since you stayed back there the whole stint. And then unfortunately for you, you had that little off-track moment right before the pit stops, which ended up kind of killing your strategy from a sense of you lost like 5 seconds there or so, which was, probably what you had hoped to maybe make up with the fuel you had saved. So it kind of killed that. And then to ultimately get a kick to the wrong area, he goes a lap further on fuel. I mean, that's like insult to injury, huh?
Absolutely right. And so the fuel was one thing, and in the end, it seemed that it was fairly balanced. I'll take that. But this whole race for all of us was a learning experience with this new tire. And what I learned in all of those laps, within half a second to a second behind Nodovan, is that I was using a lot more tire than he was, and it was definitely cooking him. There came a point when he gapped to about a second, and I knew the tires were lost. And then at that point, he started pulling away. And of course, when they start pulling a gap, you start driving a little harder. And a few more mistakes happen. You burn up the tires. So I learned that, maybe we saved some fuel, but definitely used up a lot more tire than I should have, which was a cool learning experience. Definitely, this new tire model is, I think it's honestly fantastic. It's very much a driver's tire, but it's a lot more than
Yeah.
just a cold tire for the outlap. There are other factors during a stint that can definitely affect the long run.
Well, that would certainly
yeah.
explain why I can't get around on this tire then, because it's a driver's tire. So therein
Well-
lies the first problem we've got. No, you're right though. What an incredible change. You know, everybody keeps hollering about, like, in fact, Hamish said this during the race. Everybody keeps hollering about how they want realism. They want realism, you know, and you get the debris, and everybody then, oh, you know, the debris, it's too much, you know. Then the tire, then they bring this tire out, and everybody's like, oh, you can't drive with this tire. Hey, you wanted real, you asked for real. That's what you got.
Yep, absolutely. I love the debris, as you know, as many sand traps as there were at this track. You know, there was a lot of sand on the track,
Of
a
course.
lot of rocks, but it's a dynamic that we all have to deal with. You know, if rocks get kicked up, Nodovan has to deal with it. I have to deal with it, and that's a lot of fun. It clears itself off. The new tires, the new lighting. People are complaining about the sun. Anybody that's ever looked at the sun
You're right.
would realize that the sun is actually very bright. So, you know, I think iRacing is making strides. You know, the last tire model was way wrong, and I'm glad
It was
iRacing
fun.
acknowledged that. It was fun, absolutely, but it was like a Formula One car
It
in a GTP body. So they made it. I can't, you know, obviously can't speak to real life, but it's definitely a handful, and I love it.
Yeah, that's great, and what a nice run you had tonight. You know, I mean, overall, you had a good solid run. What you got anybody you want to shout out to while we have you in here?
Well, as soon as I got out of my seat, I laid down on the floor. I'm still lying on the floor. I'd like to shout out my girlfriend Hannah for laying on the floor with me. Thanks, guys, for putting on a show. Congrats, Nodovan, for the win. What else? Good job, Nicolator. He finished somewhere, but he finished, so
He
I'm proud
did.
of that.
Yes.
All right, very good. All right, yeah. So that's about it. Thanks, guys. This has been a lot of fun.
All right. Good talking to you. I'm sure we'll be talking to you in the weeks to come as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Take care.
You too.
Next up, we have P1 on the road here this evening. Nodovan, after an incredible run, starting at the front of the field. Good, sir. You have proven that you've got some tenacity and some real pace in this car. Perhaps maybe helped by the fact that Beaver dropped back at a moment before the pit stop period. But I think what really helped you in this was actually taking the gamble of taking 4 seconds less worth of fuel and then saving that fuel across the end of the race. How was that one for you, though, at the front of the field and trying to traverse through the traffic and the possibilities of trying to save fuel as well?
Yeah, so the first stint was mainly just about saving some fuel because I really didn't want to be the one pitting first and then having a lap on cold tires while the other guy has a lap with nice hot tires. I didn't want to be in that position, so I made sure I wasn't. So the first stint was mainly just about saving fuel to make it that extra lap, and then that second stint was pushing to get the fast lap for that extra point. And then I actually underfueled my car too much, so I lost a lot of time hoping I was gonna make it to the end.
That was
And
that's
what was,
entertaining. Go ahead.
yeah, it's properly entertaining. I mean, you know, you obviously had a big challenge at the front of the field. You were kind of just cruising for the first part of the race with Beaver right in behind you, and obviously not willing to go past you just yet. But what I mean, what were some of the challenges that you faced? Of course, we've already mentioned and we've spoken to the other drivers about the new tire model, but also just obviously saving that fuel too. How much has the new tire model and saving those tires now actually affected saving fuel? Has it made it a little bit easier? Has it made it a little bit harder? What's some of the changes that's kind of brought into place for that sort of strategy?
I'll be completely honest, I have no clue. The 3 races of the series are the only races I've done with these cars, so I have no clue, no experience whatsoever. But I would say probably the biggest factor in saving fuel was the amount of braking zones we had. Like it kept the battery nice and charged so that you could just kind of get idle at the end of the straight and just kind of make up that time in the beginning of the straight with the battery. But I don't know if the tires would have made too much of a difference. Like maybe a little bit because the entry speeds would be higher, but I have no clue. I haven't done enough testing.
Well,
That's completely
he's honest
fair enough.
anyway.
He's very honest. Very, very honest. I mean, let me have a quick look. What's our next round that we run this series?
Here, I tell you what,
Road Atlanta.
we can look right here.
Road Atlanta.
There's the schedule right
Yeah,
there.
Road Atlanta. So, of course, well known for sports car racing, of course, with the Petit Le Mans series. Are you pretty confident going into that one now that you got 2 weeks to get some practice in for it?
Yeah, so Road Atlanta was my pick, actually. I love that track. I've never really raced LMP there, but GTs, oh, I love it. It's my bread and butter.
Yeah, well,
I think it's going to be
it's
one
a
hell of
great
an event, eh, Jim?
it's a great American road course. I mean, it's one of the classics for sure.
Hell to the yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was telling Hamish real quick during the summer, had a little road trip with my son, and we got to swing by Road Atlanta and check it out and bought some Petit Le Mans souvenirs and stuff. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. It's a great facility, though. So, anyway, you congratulations again. Obviously, a great night. Won't call it a walk in the park, but you certainly got out there, took control, and stayed out there. You got anybody you want to give a shout out to while we have you in here?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my teammate. He didn't have the best of nights tonight, but he makes the setups for all of our cars because I don't know how. But it seemed really balanced throughout the stint. It didn't really get any tighter or any looser if you took care of the tires. It kind of stayed neutral the whole time, and it was an awesome setup. So I'd like to give a nice big old shout out to Bozak.
Yeah, that's a big advantage having somebody that can put a good setup onto the car for you, for sure. All right, man. Well, I'm sure I have no doubt we'll be talking to you in the coming weeks. Sounds like we might be talking to you at Road Atlanta in 2 weeks, as excited as you are about that. So, but congratulations again, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Jim, that'll bring it into our show this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here with you once again and to have everyone watching along with us, getting into the chat as well. We so appreciate everyone joining us here on JP Broadcasting. Be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well, so you're notified whenever we go racing here on JP Broadcasting. We've got so much more racing to come your way throughout the end of March, in through April, and throughout the rest of 2025 as well. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here once again for round 3 of the J2iCS Endurance Series at Zandvoort Grand Prix circuit. As we mentioned, the next round of this series will be out at Road Atlanta in a couple of weeks' time. Next week, we'll be back again for the Dallara F3s for the sprint series of this series as well. Myself and Jim in the booth for that one. But until then, we hope you all stay safe. We hope you all drive hard. Please hit the like button, the subscribe as well. It helps support us, support the series that we broadcast, and helps bring more fantastic racing to you from the world of sim racing here on JP Broadcasting. But until then, as I said, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.